Good morning, it's 7 a.m. and we're going to go ahead and start the operational briefing. This is the operational briefing for the LNU Lightning Complex for August 30th, 0700 to August 31st, 0700. My name is Jeff Wyndham, Plan Section Chief for Incident Management Team 2. This briefing is being broadcast on CDF TAC 27 as well as available on YouTube if you follow the link on the cover of your IAP. Please ensure you're providing for social distancing and wearing a mask during the briefing. And we'll go ahead and start with a situational update with Landon Hack Night Operations.
Hey, good morning, Landon Hack Night Operations. Over on the Myers, still continued patrol status over there. No significant issues reported last night. On the Wall Bridge, still some work going in down here. Big concern over a lot of this is trees coming down, so those are being addressed. And continue to button up down on the slower side. Over on the East Zone, continued mop-up patrol and calls of service from Zulu all the way down, Golf, Kilo, Mike. There was a structure fire last night in Capel Valley that was not related to the incident. It was an isolated outside of our, but the Mike resources did assist with that. Same up in Sierra, continue to mop up the patrol. Continuing to get this line locked in here. Over Berryessa Estates, this little island out here came to life a little bit yesterday afternoon, so the divisions were up in here just keeping tabs on that, and day operations will be addressing that. Up around the top end, Victor, Whiskey, the main focus is still up in here. A lot of work being done, continued through the night, getting this portion cut out. And then there's a pretty robust plan that you'll hear today for finishing that up.
For our management objectives, we're going to provide for emergency personnel and public safety at all times, ensure COVID-19 precautions and best practices are met at all times, protect property improvements and infrastructure, ensure coordinated, timely, and accurate release of public information, foster and maintain relationships with all cooperators and stakeholders, protect economic, natural, cultural, and heritage resources, and maintain fiscal accountability and keep costs commensurate with the values at risk. For our control objectives on Branch 10, we're going to keep the fire north of the Russian River, south of Kelly Road, east of Highway 1, and west of Dry Creek Road. On Branch 20, 30, and 40, we're going to keep the fire north of Highway 12, south of Highway 20, east of Highway 29, and west of the 505 and I-5. Now with the incident weather incident meteorologist, Eric Kurth.
Good morning, everyone. Well, we have a very familiar pattern where we saw the marine layer come in overnight, bringing in some cool air and the prevailing southwest flow that we've been seeing. So we've got low clouds across the valleys, decent RH recoveries. Now with the southwest flow down here, we also do have some northeasterly winds up here at Whiskey and extending into Uniform. And what we're going to see this afternoon is some battling winds where eventually those southwest winds will win over and push up through here. Now, one issue with the winds, the northerly winds have brought down some smoke from the August complex, and that's moved down through here. And then we also will have that shift to southwest, which will bring some additional development smoke here. So there could be some visibility issues throughout this area, maybe as far down as Tango. So that's something to watch out for today. And again, the winds will be picking up southwest around 15 to 25 miles an hour, around that 2:30 time that we've been seeing. In terms of temperature today, we're going to see hotter temperatures, probably in the neighborhood of 2 to 5 degrees warmer than we saw yesterday. And RHs will also be a little bit lower as well. So it may be in the 20 to 25% range. End of report.
Hugh Scanlon, Fire Behavior Analyst.
So we have warmer, drier, and we got some things going on with the winds. So initially the winds are sort of coming out of the northeast in the morning, and then you're going to see that switch around to the southwest. That means that your fire has the potential to start changing directions on you in midday when the wind changes hit. If you're at the higher elevations, you're likely to see that wind change occur earlier in the shift than if you're down in the valleys and the lower areas. Probability of ignition today is still around 80 to 90%, very high. Chance of spot fires, so make sure that when you get rollout, you get things coming across your line, expect that it's going to be starting spot fires and be ready for it. Especially around 2 to 3 o'clock in the afternoon, this fire really starts to pick up and you see an increase in activity. Out in Walbridge, there's a great deal of isolated heat just throughout the interior of this fire. There's also heat along the perimeter in a lot of different areas. That fire is not moving very much or very fast, but again, rollout and short-range spotting can be an issue for you. The fact that you've got smoke that's settling in over here, though, is providing you a fantastic shading effect, which is really keeping the fire behavior tamped down. But wait for when the conditions start to clear out, expect to see that activity pick up. So over here into the Hennessy and Branch 20, Division Tango Tango, uniform. Again, the northeast flow is going to be impacting these areas a little bit in the morning into the early afternoon. The potential for rollout and short-range spotting is pretty substantial here in Tango Tango. As you get into uniform, there's a lot of heat that's especially interior here, some of these islands. Those will continue to flare up throughout the day and become active. So be aware of where those are in relation to your control lines. Most of the control lines out here, or what's showing as perimeter, went out by itself, so it may still have some residual heat. As you come around into Victor and Whiskey, this is definitely going to be a challenge to make sure that this fire stays where we want it to stay. It's currently holding up on the south side of Cache Creek in here, but a great deal of potential to spot across Cache Creek and start to move to the north. As it comes into this area here with Whiskey across the top, it held up pretty well on the ridge line, but it still is got the potential to continue to move on the backside of that ridge, and that needs to get buttoned up. The chances of getting good work done out here are fantastic. There may be an issue though with smoke, and smoke may impact your ability to have air resources supporting you out in that area. As you go around the rest of the fire, you still have the potential for isolated heat and pockets to start flaring up and to cause some issues out there. Please review your fire behavior forecast and your fire weather forecast, which are on page 4 and 5 of the IEP. Thanks.
Day operations, Chris Waters, and resource unit leader Stan Atchison with roll call and work assignments.
Okay, good morning. For roll call, please turn to page 3 of your IIP. It's your 203A and follow along for the line supervision. Also, if your name is called, please stand up, face the crowd, and raise your hand. For all Branch 10 resources, roll call will take place at the Sonoma County Fairgrounds after this briefing. So we'll start with the contingency branch, Jim McDougald.
Here.
Fire suppression repair, Jason Butcher.
Here.
Suppression repair east, Len Nielsen.
Here.
Moving to the east zone, Charlie Blankenheim.
Here.
Branch 20, Spencer Andreas.
Here.
Division Sierra in Tango Tango will be known as Tango Tango on the radio with Cody Parks.
Here.
And Dave Diggs.
Here.
Division Uniform, Kevin Ryan.
Good morning.
Branch 25, Bill Lopez.
Here.
Division Victor, Matt Ryan
Here.
with James Flynn.
Here.
Division Whiskey will be Jeremiah Carlonis and Derek Shepins. They're being briefed out of Canocti Camp. Under Branch 30, Division Charlie, Zulu will be known as Zulu on the radio, and the leader will be Travis Craig off of 9341 Charlie. Branch 40, Bob Norbaum.
Here.
Division Golf, Kerry Pell. Division Kilo Kilo and Mike Mike will be known as Mike Mike on the radio with J.C. Greenberg.
Here.
Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. We'll start out with the Wallbridge Fire. Mop up and patrol. One very important concept to keep in mind is ground fuels. We're in redwood country. Fuels are down in the soil. You're going to have to make sure that you get down deep enough and that you get to those fuels that are actually buried in the ground. The other thing, a lot of fire damaged trees, a lot of trees falling on the ground. We got falling modules assigned to actually make that area safe for firefighting operations and to ensure that the trees that we have that are within proximity of our operations can get handled. Moving over to the Hennessy Fire. Tango Tango, uniform, and continuing to mop up and snag this area along the Tango Tango firing operation that came up north. One really important thing to think about for Sierra and also for Victor and uniform is this island that you see here at drop point 26 and this island up here north of there. That's actually a long strip that runs north-south through the middle of the fire. Remember, Berryessa Estates is still there. There's still fuel in there to burn, and in places there's probably some active fire that we need to go after. So we want to focus some attention on getting in here and making sure that none of these big islands actually take off on us and cause us any more problem to some of the assets at risk. First priority on the fire today is going to be Whiskey, Victor. We got resources being flown up to the top of the hill on the east side of Cache Creek to try and cut out the remaining piece up on the plateau and try and get that done in one shift if at all possible. Also working on the area that's on the other side of Cache Creek, the west side of Cache Creek. It's the last piece of the fire that we need to close up, at least the active part of the fire. And there'll be a ton of resources moving that way. This is going to become the highest priority on the fire starting on today's shift. Thank you.
Air Operations Branch Director Mike Deacon.
Good morning, everyone. You'll see on the 220 we're up to 8 Type 1 helicopters and 6 Type 2 helicopters to support our missions today. I don't anticipate flying fixed wing, but if we need to, we have several available to us. This morning, like Chief said, the first thing we're going to do is move troops from the helibase, 7M helibase, up to H2. If you look on the second page of the 220, it's got a start time of 0900, pending weather. That means I need the crews to be out there as early as possible so we can get loaded, manifest, and get the operation going. We're going to continue to keep Hillsburg open through today, and we'll have at least 1, possibly 2 Type 2 helicopters out here to support this side. At close of business today, Hillsburg will shut down, and tomorrow will become a helispot. Air-to-ground frequencies, 25, 24. Make sure you're on the right frequency, contact Helico, and we're going to keep 12-hour coverage over the incident on the east side today over in branch 25. Thanks.
Medical Unit Leader Justin Vanderholz.
Good morning, Justin Vanderholz, Medical Unit Leader. So if you could turn to page 35 of your IAP, it's your 206. For base camp for the crews, we have Mert here in Calistoga for all the crews out there. For CalMat, they're at both base camps. The one here in Calistoga is over there by the Speedway. They're available for all your treatment and supply needs. Out on the incident, there's ambulances scattered throughout both sides of the fire, or both fires. And just make sure you know where your closest ALS resource is at all times. If you could review box 6 is your IWI. If you need any pocket cards, come see me. Make sure we get the correct information back to the comm center. And then also make sure everybody's screening for COVID symptoms and checking temperatures. Thank you. Have a good day.
Communications Unit Leader John McCormick.
Good morning. Let's turn to page 36 in your IEP and we'll go over the comm plan. No change in the comms again for today in both the west and the east. Just to address some issues, we did move Command 26 to Mohart Ridge, thinking that would provide some better coverage for the Division Delta on the western end. We are going to have some techs out there working. It was coming in loud and clear for us, but I think the train out there is giving us some difficult problems. So just bear with us. You're going to see them driving around and doing some radio checks. The air to ground for the west is CDF TAC 24. Make sure you guys are monitoring that and you're on the right channel. Over to the east, we know we have issues at Rumsey Canyon. There's been issues in that area for as long as as long as there's been fires there. So we're working on that, bear with us. I don't know how good it's gonna get, but if we need to put somebody up to hear communications to get back down into you guys with tax, then that's something we're gonna have to do. But for this area right here, your air to ground is gonna be CDF TAC 25. For everybody that's just getting here, Calistoga, Santa Rosa, and Canocti, if you're just getting here, make sure you get cloned, so you have all the right frequencies. Batteries are at supply, and we are open for radio repairs. Have a safe shift.
Safety Officer Chad Thompson.
Good morning, everybody. Hey, please make sure you're passing along this briefing and paying attention to this briefing so we also continue to make smart decisions so we stay safe, okay? Driving, please, you guys, slow down. We're having a lot of minor accidents, fortunately no injuries, but we're driving way too fast on narrow, windy roads. There's not as much smoke in the air. There's no reason why we need to be driving so fast. Please pass along and please drive slower. Hotter, drier weather today, which can contribute to fatigue in our decision-making process, but also to the fire behavior and the probability of ignition being at 90% today. So anticipate potential spots outside the line. And in the afternoon, the fire increasing at about 1,500. Operations over on the Wahlberg, pay attention to the hazard trees, please flag them. Look at your safety message in 215A for how you handle that, or your IRPG. On the east side, the reburn potential of the interior islands, we have an opportunity to get a lot of work done. The continued weather of hot, dry, fatigue us, please pay attention, please brief everyone. Thank you, have a great day.
For training, if you're here as a trainee, please ensure that you go to page 44 in your IEP and that you scan the QR code, fill out the documentation so that we can get you credit. The training technical specialist will be arriving tomorrow for any questions. For finance, continue to get your shift tickets in, signed and on, so that we can ensure that everyone gets paid. And now with public information, Jeremy Ron.
Good morning. Just a couple updates, please, on your IEP, page 46 has CAL FIRE policies as well as any social media. Please make sure and run it through the PIO shop for review. And if you run it into the public, also please share the information phone number so they can reach out to us. Also, if there are any public viewing this briefing this morning, this briefing is designed for firefighters. So there's maybe some different terminology that may be out there, so if you need any clarification or have any questions, please call our phone number at 707-967-4207. Also too, just in addition to any repopulated areas, if anybody's working in that area, please, if you see the public as they start to get back into their homes, please relay the importance of safety around a lot of these trees as we've been discussing over the days. We do have a lot of potential there after people repopulate the area, so we want to make sure that if you could help us share that message, it'd be appreciated. As far as numbers on the complex, we're at 375,209 for the entire complex at 56%. Hennessy, 317,909 at 56%. Then the Wall Bridge, 54,940 at 55%. And then the Myers is still at 2360 at 98%. Thank you and have a safe day.
A few closing comments for Branch 10, West Zone Branch 10. Briefing and support will continue out of the Sonoma County Fairgrounds. If you came to the Calistoga briefing and you are reporting to Branch 10, please ensure that you report to your drop point so that you can get a briefing from your division prior to going to work. For unassigned resources, they will be over here with Stan. Cooperators meeting at 10, planning meeting at 1700, next operational briefing at 0700. For breakouts, we've got our branch breakouts starting at branch 20 over here and working around the room and finishing with branch 40 over here. We have fire suppression repair in the back corner. With that, turn on your electronic devices and have a safe day.